Welcome to the Fantasy Football Fanalist Podcast, presented by Fantasy Data. Here's your hosts, Billy Muzio and Bradley Stalder.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fanalist Podcast. Billy Muzio here and Bradley Stalder. This episode is brought to you by Fantasy Data, and we have a very, very special request tonight. We've been asked, hey, can you rank and rate my Dynasty League? And yes, we can. And that's what we're doing tonight. So tonight we are going to be reviewing a 14-team Dynasty League called the Generation X. We're going to be ranking them using the Fantasy Data rankings and projections from the website from 14th place down to first place. And from that point on, giving who we think is going to be the winner for this league. And we do take into consideration draft capital as well as future picks and, of course, talent on the team. So for those of you here on the league, you can make comments at any time. So we can show them live. So banner down here, comments pop up live just like this. So they'll be actually a bit left of the social icons, but nonetheless, anyone in the league can see you talk smack. So if you're laughing at somebody in the league because they drafted somebody and we're laughing at them, you can laugh with us. You can laugh at us, whatever you want to do. This is meant to be interactive. And I just hit my mic. That's awesome. But this is meant for it to be interactive and fun and allow us to have fun as a group. So we love doing these. And Bradley, are you excited for this?
Absolutely. This is, I think, one of the best things about fantasy football is the community coming together and bashing each other's teams and really just amplifying the weaknesses. Oh, your quarterback sucks, and therefore you're going to lose every game. No, like the rest of his team is looking pretty good if he fixes that one thing. You know, if we go through all these different examples, really trying to objectify and distill the differences between each of these teams. It's a really fun exercise for both of us. We've been doing this. We did this last season, and now we're back at it again, Billy, and ready and rearing to look at this Degeneration X 14-team Superflex PPR league. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's get going. It's a long drum roll.
Woo. Okay, I think you paid him a little extra there. Okay, number 14. And this is both overall and we'll mention, of course, starting lineup. Number 14 in this league is none other than Trading Company. I'm waiting for the sound bit there, Billy.
I was pulling up the league here. I apologize.
It's okay. Okay. I'll
do it again. Do it again. No, do it again. Number 14.
Let's try it. Number 14, Trading Company. Now I know that was low-hanging fruit. It's not even close in this league. There's such a tier difference. There's multiple tier differences between Trading Company and the number 13 team. Let's look at Trading Company's team here, and as we go through it, I'll mention some of the players, make a few notes, and Billy, you'll chime in as well, and then we'll give some advice as to where to go from here. So at quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, James Conner and A.J. Dillon at running back, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Antonio Brown, and Robbie Anderson to fill out the 3 wide receiver starting slots. Dawson Knox is the tight end, along with Zach Ertz. I guess those are interchangeable here. Russell Gage and Kiki QT fill out the flex positions. Big Ben Roethlisberger at the super flex position. And we look on the bench, and it's a lot of either has-beens, nothings, dust. Todd Gurley, Wayne Gallman, Brian Hill, Matt Breida, Jordan Wilkins. I think half of these running backs don't even have teams right now. Boston Scott, Bryce Love, LaMichael Pirine, Josh Kelly, Deshaun Jackson, Willie Snead, Tyrell Williams. What is this team from 2017? Emmanuel Sanders, Marquez Callaway, AJ Green, Jordan Reed. This team would be a championship team about 4 years ago, but here we are in 2021, and it's not our job to talk about the past. It's our job to talk about the future. There is a little bit of sunshine for Trading Company. Like, it's not all bad. He has a second round pick, even though he doesn't have his first this year. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first round picks in 2022 and another second round pick in 2022. So it's pretty obvious that this is a tank. This is a team that is really banking on a lot of young players like A.J. Dillon to hit. But other than that, I think this is a continue to sell for multiple assets team if it wants to compete in 3 years.
See, that's what I thought it was too. And then I looked at his picks, and I mean, he doesn't even have a first round pick. He's got the 2.06, 3.09, the 4.06, and the 5.09. And after I saw that again, I was like, it got even more sad. Like,
You played the sad button twice for this team, Billy.
Yeah, because it's that sad. I mean, I'm sorry, Trading Company, but your trading didn't work. And this team is it's built pretty bad. It's not really built for the future or for now. So congratulations. You somehow amassed to create a horrible team without a future.
Okay. I think there's a little bit more hope. Here's what Trading Company needs to do. Everyone else in the league, turn off your mics for the next 90 seconds, or your headphones, whatever. Don't listen. Okay. Yes, it is a next level tank. That's right. Chew Papa 55. What you need to do, Trading Company, is you need to week 1 or week 2, after week 1 or after week 2, James Conner's going to go off because he's going to be healthy for the first couple weeks of the year. Sell him off. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be a top 14 quarterback as long as he has the starting position. Sell him off. Antonio Brown, when he signs with a team this offseason, you need to sell him. When he signs with a team, there's going to be a lot of hype around there. Zach Ertz, when he moves from Philadelphia, he needs to be sold. AJ Green, when he has a healthy season or a healthy first two games, that's when you need to sell him. There are players who have a lot of upside for two games, and that's when you need to sell. And if you miss that window, Billy, that's the only hope. Okay, is to sell high in these players when they pop for 1 or 2 weeks in 2021.
I'm sorry, when you mentioned opportunity and James Conner, I just spaced out and started looking at Chew Papa's name over here, because that was a lot more interesting than James Conner in any type of future he has. So
he's going to be the lead back in Arizona. Okay.
Bradley's going to go on this huge rant, and we're just going to get him back to reality here. And
no, he's better than Chase Edmonds. He's a better pass catcher.
That's debatable.
He has a higher catch rate. He has more yards per touch than either Drake or Edmonds did last year. Yes, he has injuries, but every running back has injuries. So, I mean, Edmonds may be the pass catching role, but James Conner's gonna be the lead back as long as he's healthy. And so what I'm saying is sell high on him when he has 2 good games to start the year.
Wait, you hear that? That's the Grim Reaper coming for James Conner, because it's going to happen.
I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying sell him before it happens. Okay. This is yes. Okay. All right. We've spent a lot of time talking about Trading Company. That was exciting. Talk about a team that's in a different place than all of the others in this league. We'll now shift to number 13 overall, but very, very top heavy. Okay. So 4th in starting lineup, and that's JDUS 9. And JDUS 9, let me pull up JDUS 9's team here, has Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor at running back. Also, Raheem Mostert is in running back as well. That running back position is Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks at the wide receiver positions, Darren Waller at the tight end. We've been praising and lauding Waller all offseason. Darius Slayton as a flex play, Tony Pollard as a flex play, Benny Snell pegged in the starting lineup for now. I guess the starting running back for Pittsburgh right now, but
And he's got Hurts there that's going to slide into the flex.
Yeah, Hurts will slide into that super flex. Nick Foles and Teddy Bridgewater, backup quarterbacks, along with Gardner. He's got Devontae Booker, who's the backup in the for the New York Giants. Ito Smith recently cut. Jacoby Myers could be a flex play for him. Will Disley will be battling with Gerald Everett for snaps at tight end in Seattle. And one of the good things is that JDust9 has his first round pick this year, and he has 2022 seconds in addition to his own for next season. So I think there's a lot of top heaviness here. There's certainly a lot of upside with the studs of Taylor and Murray and Allen and Evans can win a lot of weeks, but is it going to be enough to get into the playoffs? And we've seen time and again that depth does matter more than we initially think. So Billy, what are your thoughts on this team?
Yeah, I think you hit the hammer on the nail here. Depth matters, especially in these 14-team leagues. I mean, you have an injury or two, and next thing you know, you could be going from a top 3 position in your league to bottom 3 just because you have no depth on your bench to be able to get you through those times. So he's definitely hurting in depth, but he has enough, stars to where he's able to add depth if he really wanted to or needed to. And he still has that first, like we talked about this year. So if he comes out hot, and he can always, work in that draft capital from next year as well to try to acquire another player, maybe from a sad team previously mentioned that has, somebody on there before the Reaper gets them. So just saying, hey, hit him up because he needs it. And I think that this team could surprise people. Although we have him ranked as 13th, it would not shock me if he finished higher in this group.
And there's a reality too that one of the 3 of Nick Foles, Teddy Bridgewater, Gardner Minshew steps into a starting role in some capacity throughout this coming season, like their backups. We've seen time and again that having quarterback depth, especially in a Superflex league, is going to be very important. So to have those backups either to keep or as cash-in insurance policies for a playoff run could be valuable. So very good starting lineup, but we'll see how the depth goes. Number 12, Godson 4. But once again, very, very top-heavy. 5th best starting lineup. So let me pull up that team here. Godson 4. And also our commish. So shout out to the commish of this league, Godson 4. Sorry we're ranking you so low, but yeah, we just got to do what we got to do, right, Billy?
Business is business.
Yep. If you would have paid us a little more.
No, this business is business, and this team's not in it to do business right now. So, buried the lead. Okay, well, when you got Jimmy Garoppolo and Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterbacks, you're kind of out of luck here. But he does have Saquon Barkley, Kenyon Drake as running backs, and I don't think Drake is as much of a downgrade or downgraded as much as we will initially think. I think it's certainly limits his upside in Las Vegas, but I think he still has a decent floor, running back 2 ceiling right now. DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp. You can win weeks with that 3 just by themselves. Those ceilings are so high. And then they have Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews as well. Those are touchdown makers, big play players. And this is tight end premium. We failed to mention that. So it is a half point tight end premium.
And when you have the number 1 tight end in a position where, it's a wasteland, to have 2 of them, that's very valuable. They're just tiers above the rest of those, especially onesie spots. Sterling Shepard and Will Fuller are big boom plays as well. And it's a nice little stack, maybe Will Fuller, Tua. So if Tua really develops, takes a step forward, we could see this team really making a move, I think. But looking at the bench, I mean, Tevin Coleman signs with the Jets. That's uninspiring. Marlon Mack back with Indy. He somehow still has Darius Geis on his team. Shake my head. Let's see. Antonio Gandy Golden is dust. Kelvin Harmon is dust. Billy, Anthony Miller, he was a player that we were pretty high on going into last season, and instead it was Darnell Mooney who shined a little bit more. There's been trade rumors about Anthony Miller. Where do you see him going for next year?
Sorry, I was responding to them, the league. Who was the player? Anthony
Miller.
I would love to see him on the Bears. I mean, from the Bears to the Packers. I would love it. It makes sense. I don't, who knows where he'll land, but I think that would just be like a dream come true from like a dynasty perspective. Cause I do own a little bit of Anthony Miller, maybe a share or two, and
only a share or two,
only a share or two.
I think you had too much influence last offseason on my projections when it came to Anthony Miller.
So I think that I'd love to see him in Green Bay. I think it would work out beautifully, but I don't think it'll happen.
And he also has Blake Jarwin, who had a torn ACL last season. There were a lot of high hopes. He was a top 12 tight end for both of us going into last season. We did a lot of high expectations given the Cowboys offense. He could be nothing because Dalton Schultz played admirably in his stead, but Blake Jarwin was an athletic, a very well-respected player at tight end position. So any word? I haven't heard much from him other than he's recovering. So
yeah,
that's why I'm a little concerned even that like, oh, he's progressing great. Like you hear a lot of praise about Dak Prescott recovering well, but maybe it's the position or maybe it's possibly Dalton Schultz, the starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys come 2021.
Yeah, it could be. And he performed well too. So I'd say even if he does come back healthy, I would probably expect to see both in the mix though. But there is news that Dallas is enamored by Pitts and that they may try to move up to grab him. So if that happens, all this is out the window.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we need defense. Also, let's get offense. I mean, yeah, Pitts would be great, but that's more of a luxury pick in my opinion. If you're trading up, and I don't even know if it's valuable, like going to be value added. Pitts is a talented player, but how much higher is the ceiling? If anything, it'll hurt any of the Dallas Cowboys. High.
I mean, Pitts is a freak of nature. I mean, he's going to be a stud at some day in the NFL. Year one, probably not so much, but
sure.
But I mean, he's built to be successful in this league. Sure.
Long term, I agree, but year one, the Pitts hype I think is a little out of control until we figure out where he's going to land. Damian Harris, I failed to mention, is also on this team. He could spot start, I think, in the running back spot. That maybe is a weakness for Godson 4, especially given that he doesn't have a first round pick or a second round pick for this year. So a very top heavy team once again, very strong position players. Maybe wondering how we can upgrade quarterback, especially if Jimmy Garoppolo loses his job midway through. That could really sink this team.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be pretty painful for this team if they lose that quarterback. Sorry, I was responding to the league here. I guess there's having some streaming issues on a lot of platforms, which it was happening in the last pod I was guest appearing on too. So it doesn't seem like it might be a StreamYard issue. So for those of you who are watching, if you're able to, thank you. And for those of you who keep messaging me, telling me that it's cutting out, try another platform, try on Twitch, try on Twitter, try on Facebook and see if it works for you. So we apologize.
Yeah, thanks for giving us a go. Thanks for giving us a try. So we appreciate your loyalty and communication about it. Billy, let's go to number 11. And number 11 is Fantasy King 8. Fantasy King 8. Let me pull up the team here. And 11th overall and 11th in starting. We'll see some good players on here, but yeah, there's going to be some holes here too. Quarterback Dak Prescott, DeAndre Swift, and David Montgomery at running back. Got CeeDee Lamb. So far, so good. Like we see 4 very strong players, but then drops off Paris Campbell, who was a face plant. He really has struggled with injuries, didn't produce a ton at Ohio State, had a lot of hype and a lot of draft capital, but hasn't capitalized in the NFL. Curtis Samuel, I love his landing spot in Washington, but he's more of a wide receiver 3, and so a right spot there, but nothing impressive given that spot. Dallas Goedert, I think a lot hinges his value on whether Zach Ertz stays or goes. Melvin Gordon, Jeff Wilson, and Chris Herndon cracks the starting lineup. Oh boy, we'll have to see if there are any players we can replace Herndon with. Carson Wentz, Superflex, and then a plethora of quarterbacks. We're talking AJ McCarron, who's dust. Marcus Mariota, who might land on a different team. We'll see. Alex Smith is a free agent. Taysom Hill, your boy Taysom Hill there, Billy, is on this team. Yeah, I'm surprised that we ranked him so high, given that he has Taysom Hill on his team.
I skipped his name when I was entering it.
Logan Woodside, the backup quarterback in Tennessee, and Tom Brady's backup Blaine Gabbert in Tampa Bay. I'm also looking at the rest of this bench, and it's a bunch of garbage and zeros. I mean, no disrespect to the players, but they bring no fantasy value, and that's Project Akeem Butler, Auden Tate, who's currently the wide receiver 3 on Cincinnati. Deontay Harris might have some opportunity. Omar Bayless was 2020 preseason undrafted rookie with a little bit of hype. Jacob Hollister in Buffalo recently acquired. Oh gosh, Wilson, Herndon, New Mahomes, and Kelsey.
Chewy's drunk. Go home, Chewy.
Oh, ew. Okay, moving on. We're looking at the taxi squad and also a bunch of nothing. Hunter Bryant, maybe Jason Huntley, but and Fancy King 8 doesn't have his own first. He has Clay Pigeon 49s, but he has 2 seconds. So there's a little bit to work with, but I don't think this is enough to make it a playoff team. I don't know what kind of monster return you can get for Dak Prescott. I don't even know if that's the right move, but
no, it's not. It fits the build. He's got a pretty young build here. I think you got to stick to that.
Yeah, he's got a core. And then
if anything, I'm trading Taysom Hill, not only because I'm biased, but also because it fits. And if I'm you, I go after the Winston owner, have him pair it for security, and you pick yourself up another possible flex play or even some bench depth here. Because me personally, I don't even want that disease on my team, Taysom Hill. But I think that it'll do your team good because you have the quarterback depth to be able to do it. So the move for me is trade away Taysom here and add yourself another player.
I mean, he's the only player that really sticks out on your bench that's worth anything. So maybe Marcus Mariota too.
Yeah, when you're listing off names like Nick Keiser and Jacob Hollister and Omar Bayless, it's just, let's just say,
you'd expect this type of dart throwing on like a 32 team league. You wouldn't expect this in a 14 team league.
Not 14. I mean, it is a deep 14 team league though. I mean, we're starting, 3 flex positions, 3 receivers.
I mean, sure, but this many dart throws.
This is like bottom of the barrel deep.
This is like they listened to every single deep cut of Bradley this past offseason and was like, yes. Only no Robert Tonyan.
I'm looking down at all these names and I see the next one and the next one and each one in between. This is the only sound I hear in between every one of those players. So you can cut those clowns because they're not going to help you at all.
Yeah, yikes. Okay, let's move on. Number 10, JSW 21,591. Woo, okay. And we have a JSW 21,591 ranked 10th overall.
21,591.
Yeah, well, that's what the starting lineup's going to look like. And oh boy, Billy. Cam Newton at quarterback, already off to a clown start. Miles Sanders and Kareem Hunt. Okay. All right. So he's dedicated. He's establishing the run with this team. Okay. AJ Brown. He has running capability. DJ Chark. He can run fast. Jerry
do your song. Do your song.
DJ Chark. Do. Right. It's Chark week. That's a new one. Jerry Jeudy is also there. Adam Troutman, who's got the starting spot lined up for New Orleans, given the departure of Jared Cook, Nelson Aguilar, Henry Ruggs, T.Y. Hilton, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson on the bench. Ooh, that's going to be a huge hinge for this team.
It hurts. Hate
Huge
to see it.
hinge. Absolutely. That's tough. Jamison Crowder not cracking the starting lineup. That's an interesting call. I mean, maybe probably over Ruggs and maybe over Aguilar, but we'll see. I'm looking James Washington, Dante Pettis, David Moore. Nothing else inspiring here. Anthony McFarland maybe as a dart throw. Justice Hill has been a bust running back.
He does have Nicole Hardman.
He does have another bust. Okay.
I'm not ready to label him that.
I am.
I should have a discussion.
Well, okay, I'll take an aside for 30 seconds. I'm working on a project right now that's looking and cataloging historical data over the first 3 years of highly ranked rookies and what the bust percentages of players who haven't like broken out year one or year two. And Mecole Hardman.
There was a certain wide receiver last year who broke out that had been in the league for a number of years.
4 years.
4 years, yes. Do you happen to know this receiver's name, Bradley?
Yeah, Devontae Parker.
Yeah, that one too. That was the lesser of two evils. But there was another one.
Corey Davis. I know. I did that on purpose. But yeah, really the Devontae Parkers and Corey Davises of the world in their actually Corey Davis was a top 36 wide receiver at least once in those 4 years before this 5th year breakout. So, there needs to be more signs of breaking out. And I don't believe that Mecole Hardman has shown me any sign that he's anywhere close to being having a breakout coming. So if anything, maybe he's a sell. See if anyone will buy.
But at least this team has depth. This is the first team that we've seen so far.
Tyler Johnson could hit.
Yeah, so there's some
there is more depth for sure.
There's more depth here. So especially if injuries happen, it's going to happen, right? And COVID's still around. Let's be real here, right? So yes, they're having players get vaccinated, but hey, it's still likely you can still get it, right? So if you do get it and you have players missing multiple weeks in this deep of a league in a 14-team dynasty league, those type of players and those type of pieces are going to come in handy.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's why we have him ranked 10th, but 13th in starting lineup. So it's obvious that there's a big drop off. I'm so sad though that AJ Brown wasn't able to bring JSW 21,000 all the way up to number 1, but such is life. AJ Brown, one of my favorite players. I just got the jersey. If y'all take a look, just got signed jersey.
Looks good.
So we're slowly adding to the.
And you know what? I just
here.
Noticed it's in red, which is the same as my Niners. And because now he's on my dynasty team in our draft that we're doing. So
you sniped him from me.
Oh, I warned you. I said you could trade up.
I know. And I didn't believe you because, DK Metcalf is my number 1. Oh, DK Metcalf is the best.
I even said my rankings have adjusted. I'm giving you the opportunity to trade up and get him.
To me. I've convinced you. Okay, real talk. Do you think Russ is going to cook this year?
That's another topic. Let's answer this question. That's a podcast. That's like a whole podcast topic. So let's take a look here. Our question is: do you prefer more Justin Jefferson or AJ Brown? And for me, this was actually a discussion that we had on the last podcast, and I personally prefer AJ Brown. I think that overall I really like, especially 2021. If we're talking dynasty, it's a lot closer. But for 2021, for me, AJ Brown is hands down a step ahead of Justin Jefferson, purely based on a target standpoint. We've joked around about targets and what the opportunities are, what's going to be there. And but I mean, overall metrics wise, I also like AJ Brown over Justin Jefferson. So if it's me, I'm taking AJ Brown, both dynasty and redraft this year, over Justin Jefferson.
AJ Brown's my number 1 dynasty wide receiver, and his big play explosiveness is there. You've mentioned his metrics. He's the type of player who can go 2 70-yard touchdowns in a single game. Justin Jefferson, though, I'm really warming up to him. And in fact, I got my first share of Justin Jefferson in our draft that you sniped me on. I was actually expecting AJ Brown to come to me, and he didn't make it. So instead, I pivoted to Justin Jefferson. I feel really good about it, though. I don't think I would rank AJ Brown over Justin Jefferson, but I don't think there's a significant tier difference between the two. So
real quick, let me just kind of divulge, because I was just on another podcast as a guest right before the show, and AJ Brown was actually on the topic. So let me read you my notes that I had here on AJ Brown. Bradley and I actually had him as our wide receiver 5 on consensus rankings last year. It was high, but in terms of points per target, he finished as wide receiver 7 overall. So we weren't that far off. He was wide receiver 5.
We wanted him on our fantasy teams, is what we wanted.
We did. And he finished last year as wide receiver 5 in touchdowns, number 3 in hog rate. And so for those of you who are unfamiliar with hog rate, it represents the targets per snap to capture by the rate of passing game utilization on a per base plays. So number 3 in hog rate, number 5 in true catch rate, and number 6 in contested catches. And we just mentioned it. 2021, there's no one else to throw the ball to. So it's
Josh Reynolds, it's Anthony Ferkser, and it's Josh Reynolds and Anthony Ferkser compared to in Minnesota. We're talking Adam Thielen. He deserves his. Irv Smith, Tyler
let's
Conklin.
Not forget how involved Dalvin Cook is in the
Dalvin Cook
and passing game.
Derrick Henry is not as involved as Dalvin Cook. That's true. And, I expect even that there's been word out of Minnesota that they'll address the wide receiver position yet again in this draft. And Kirk Cousins, he'll throw the ball, but Ryan Tannehill is one of the best play action throwers in the league. So I love me some AJ Brown. I will take him over Justin Jefferson, but I wouldn't feel bad if I lost out on AJ Brown for Justin Jefferson there. Billy, we got to keep moving.
Yeah, number 6.
Number 6. No, number 9. We're on number 9 right now.
Oh, I can't do math.
Lazy
blame it on the wine.
5'11", but it is 6th in our starting lineup. And let me pull up the team as well. Lazy Bum has Justin Herbert at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, J.K. Dobbins. That all sounds great. But then it gets ugly at wide receiver. Michael Pittman, Denzel Mims, Darnell Mooney. Okay. Those are not the I don't even know if any of them are wide receiver 3s. George Kittle, though, at tight end, Mike Gesicki, Chase Edmonds, those are decent flex plays. But a missing flex play will have to fill in Traquan Smith, maybe. And then a super flex position. I'm looking here, he's going to have to take some dart throws in the second round at quarterback, and it's going to be kind of ugly because we're looking at CJ Beathard, Ryan Finley as the only other quarterbacks rostered aside from maybe Taxi Squad stars Jacob Eason and Jake Luton. So really quarterback and wide receiver are the weaknesses here.
Why did we rank this team so high? I don't the quarterback is really going to hurt. He's got a lot of high powered players here.
It's the upper tier. It's the upper tier. It's the 2. It's the one player can count for 2 in a position.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, if Alvin Kamara gets hurt, I mean, he's screwed, right?
He's done.
Though I'm a lot higher on Michael Pittman than you are this year. I mean, I think he's the prototypical wide receiver 1. Let's not forget, he was being drafted ahead of Justin Jefferson last year.
Ooh, what a mistake, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that just shows you the type of ceiling we're talking about here. And he had Noodle Arm Rivers throwing him the ball. So
I don't think Carson Wentz is much better, though. Hot take.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little better. And yes, you have T.Y. Hilton coming back. So
Phillip Rivers actually good season last year. We don't talk about it because it was his last year and he had a really, really terrible 2019, but he threw one of his career lows in interceptions. He had a pretty high completion percentage. He had a good season. So
yeah, I like Michael Pittman. So I like the youth build here. He has a really good youth build.
He does.
I mean, he's got the Herbert, Dobbins, Pittman, Mims, Mooney. I mean, even Kittle, even Gesicki, Chase Edmonds is young. So I really like what he did on the youth side. I was actually
if Dalvin Cook goes down, Alexander Madison could be a thing.
Yeah, there's some pieces here. I mean, and so I think that
but he's missing critical pieces though.
he is missing very critical pieces. That Superflex quarterback is what's going to be his. Achilles heel is an understatement. Like that's the dagger in the stomach. Like it's going to ruin this team not having
at two Brute, you know.
Yeah.
How many times was Caesar stabbed? Too many. Yeah, that'll betray him for sure. And we're talking about having 4 second-round picks, but then 2 first-round picks in 2022. I think this team is 2 years away from competing. And I don't know if that's going to last long enough. Like, I don't know if Kamara is going to last 3 years.
Yeah, maybe. I think so.
Maybe.
He doesn't run the ball 200 times a year. He's it doesn't have as many miles on the tires.
We'll see. All right. We'll move to number 8 overall, but a 12th best starting lineup. And that is our boy, Josh. And at quarterback, Baker Mayfield, running backs, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, wide receivers, Allen Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Brashad Perriman. Ooh, okay. Hayden Hurst, Josh Jacobs at running back, Myles Gaskin, Rob Gronkowski at flex, Kirk Cousins at the Superflex. That's actually okay. You know, Kirk Cousins threw 35 touchdown passes last season.
He's sneaky good.
Yeah, like he's definitely a quarterback that I've got an eyebrow raise on. So that's good.
Josh is one message to me letting me know things were frozen. So he's on his wife's on his Let's Facebook account. That is not Josh. He's not the little kid there. So although looking at this draft, you might think otherwise sometimes, but but no, that is Josh's son and his wife there.
But he has on his this is why he's number 8 overall, is because he has Chad Hansen on his bench. So he's got everything going for him here. But real talk, Austin Hooper is there. Miles Boykin, who's been a face plant. Tim Patrick actually was a revelation last season. Josh Reynolds, he's not good, but he has opportunity. And Cole Beasley also will have the opportunity. So I think that there are pieces here. There are depth pieces here. I really am a fan of Baker Mayfield. So if you can get him on the cheap this offseason, especially with the narrative that the Packers or the Browns are a run first team, they were not run first after the monsoon games. Okay. They were not run first after the monsoon games. In fact, Baker Mayfield averaged almost 36, 39 pass attempts per game. They were pass first. They were one of the pass heaviest teams. So I'm just throwing it out there. Baker Mayfield, he may be a very cheap offseason get. So good on Josh to get him. And we're looking at picks here.
Yeah, he's got the 106, the 209. And so he's going to be able to fill in some voids here. And he actually has a bit of depth here. It's the first roster really where the entire starting lineup is actually filled out with depth. So another one of these teams here that could easily finish above where he's at. I love his running back core, but it seems like every time we do a ranking here for Josh, and every time he has Dalvin Cook, he always gets like middle of the pack. So I don't know if that's a tell here, Josh, but maybe don't draft Dalvin Cook, because every time we draft him, it looks like you're either trading up or something's happening. So all jokes aside, I think he did a pretty good job building this roster. I think he's got a lot of upside plays. He still has all his picks as well, which is one of the first teams here as well that have all the picks. So he's got a lot of different angles he can go. And look, he's got Austin Hooper on the bench still, and he can, sub in when Gronkowski retires. So I think
or even Jamal Williams. I think Jamal Williams is a player that's going to be sneaky usable this season. DeAndre Swift is going to get his for sure. He's back end running back 1, I think. Pretty safe back end running back 1 for this season. But Jamal Williams, I think he's going to play a very similar role that he did with the Packers. And we saw how even splitting time with the stud Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams produced running back 3 numbers. So it's not a huge downgrade if someone goes down, throwing Jamal Williams in there. Okay, number 7, max 95, but the 10th best starting lineup. So we'll see once again some depth in this team. Russell Wilson at quarterback, James Robinson, Leonard Fournette at running backs, Julio Jones, Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Robert Tonyan at tight end, Cortland Sutton, Devin Singletary, Van Jefferson. So a couple eyebrow raises on Van Jefferson, and we'll see about what Julio Jones can bring to the table. But having this Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson stack here is going to be putting Max 95 in a good position. But even better, Jameis Winston's on the bench. You've got a starting quarterback or hopeful starting quarterback there. You've got Andy Dalton, who's the quarterback one in Chicago, whether we like it or not. Carlos Hyde backing up James Robinson. Samaje Perine filled in for an injured Joe Mixon last season. Julian Edelman recently retired. Byron Pringle was playing more snaps than Sammy Watkins.
He's just holding on to hope he goes to the Buccaneers. He's like, please unretire. I haven't dropped him
yet. Possibly. And my most recent deep cut of the week, Anthony Firkser here.
I like Firkser this year. I do.
Yeah. I really like the opportunities there, but also his PFF grades were extremely high. He was top 10 in just about every PFF category for a qualifying tight end from last season. So he's got a lot of upside that I think not many people are talking about. Colin Johnson, Salvin Ahmed, DJ Dallas on the bench, and also the 2021 first round pick. So there are, there's a lot of different ways he can go with this draft. I think running back is a position that he should consider targeting. Not sure what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to do to address it in the draft, but at least he's got some usable pieces to start, especially.
And he has the 1.02. He has the 1.02, so he's got flexibility at that pick as well. I mean, he can take Najee Harris if he wants, depending upon what number one does. But I think that
maybe move down to 2 or maybe he can trade down to 2 or 3 if someone really needs that quarterback. I don't know, possibly, and still get the value that you wanted anyways.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of flexibility this team has.
All right, let's keep it going here, Billy. Number 6 overall, but number 8 in starting lineup. I don't even know if I want to say this name, Billy.
This name cracks me up. I'll say it for you. It is roster bait wit you. So I was cracking up when I was typing in this team inside of our spreadsheet. It had me laughing for about half his team.
I facepalm and I'm like, okay. Anyways, we'll let him take care of whatever happiness he needs to in looking at his team. At quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. We mentioned this team is 6th overall, but 8th in starting lineup, so a lot of depth we will see here. Ryan Tannehill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Ronald Jones. Oh, man, Gio Bernard comes in. Leonard Fournette resigns. What's the prospect for Ronald Jones, Billy? Just real quick.
Bruce Arians hates him.
Ooh. Same with Keyshawn Vaughn. I think Keyshawn Vaughn is dust. Devontae
baffles me. Like, why draft a running back if you're just going to sign everybody? It doesn't make any sense. It's just a wasted pick.
Yeah, those luxury picks, they come back to bite you, don't they?
Devontae
Adams. Yeah, think if the Chiefs had drafted an offensive lineman instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, it was pick 32. It was. I mean,
still,
yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Anyways, all right. But a stud set of wide receivers here. Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Robert Woods, Logan Thomas, who I still think will have a very high target share. Juju, who finished at wide receiver 15 this past season. He was sneaky good at the end of the season. Adam Thielen is on this team. Mike Davis signed with Atlanta, and I think he's going to be very involved in the pass game. I think Atlanta could pass 700 times this season. Like with Mike Davis, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst, Russell Gage, and Cordarrelle Patterson they just signed yesterday. And who knows who they're going to draft? Maybe it is Kyle Pitts. Maybe it is another player. Maybe it's a running back who's pass catcher. But yeah, I like Mike Davis as a pass catching PPR option in this league. Nyheim Hines is also there. But looking here, no quarterbacks to speak of on the bench. Jordan Love. The bust of Jordan Love on the taxi squad, but a first round pick. So
he's got 1.01. That's his quarterback.
That's got to be the quarterback. And that's going to look real good. Do you go Justin Fields or do you go Trevor Lawrence?
No, you have to go Trevor Lawrence.
With the rushing upside?
You have to go Trevor Lawrence. He's one of the best prospects since Andrew Luck, if not, you have to go Trevor Lawrence, especially when you need that quarterback. If Fields goes to the Niners, I think that is the only other argument you could take Fields over Trevor Lawrence. But Trevor Lawrence is the answer here.
I think it's pretty close. I will go Lawrence, but I think it's a lot closer than people think. All right. So I think quarterback is just the big issue here. I think wide receivers are good. The running backs, he's taken a lot of dart throws on running back here. Jerick McKinnon, Duke Johnson, Royce Freeman, Kerryon Johnson, Divine Azigbo, and also a lot of depth at tight end. Tyler Higbee, Jared Cook, OJ Howard, Gerald Everett. Like those are all starters, aside from maybe Howard. But Howard was supposed to be the starter until Gronk was traded to the Bucs. So, yeah, I think maybe
Achilles injuries are hard to get over, though.
Maybe pair two tight ends to get another PPR back or something like that. I don't know if Mike Davis and Nyheim Hines are going to be enough depth if this team wants to be a contender instead of a pretender.
Nope.
Okay. Number 5 overall, but 7th in starting lineup. So we're getting even better teams with even better depth, and that's the Golden Age. So the Golden Age right here, quarterback Tom Brady, Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones at running back, Kenny Golladay, Devontae Parker, Christian Kirk. Not a great set of wide receivers there, but they do fill out. Like if you pick a wide receiver 1, Kenny Golladay maybe, Devontae Parker wide receiver 2 maybe, Christian Kirk wide receiver 3 maybe. Okay, but it's not like dirt or dust. Tight end Hunter Henry, David Johnson, Cam Akers. Okay, so 3 stud running backs, Zach Moss, Darrell Henderson. So the I don't think they're going to split 50-50, but I also don't think it's going to be 90-10 Cam Akers this season.
I don't think so either. And I can't take Akers where he's gone right now. I mean, you're drafting him at the absolute ceiling of where
he's been going at like running back 4, running back 6 overall. And
it's
I'm like
crazy. And I mean, you're drafting him based upon the last 4 weeks of the season when Jared Goff had a broken finger and couldn't throw. Darrell Henderson was hurt. Malcolm Brown was hurt. And he had 23 and a half touches a game the last 4 weeks. That's not happening. Again.
And one of those games was against the Patriots where the Patriots just flat out gave up. So sorry, I'm not a Cam Akers believer.
I'm not either.
I was able to get Calvin Ridley for Cam Akers straight up. So
I'd take that deal too. I would
take
the Ridley side.
Yeah. So there you go. Joe Burrow. That's going to be an interesting storyline to follow this offseason, whether Joe Burrow is ready for week 1. We see a couple dart throws at running back here. Mike Boone is the running back 2 right now in Denver, but there's a lot of hype coming out of Denver about Mike Boone. So just keep your eyebrows raised about that situation. Keyshawn Vaughn, he's donezo. He's like 4th running back on the depth chart. Bye. Yes, he's a bust that will not return value. Essentially, if a running back doesn't give you top 36, there's almost zero chance that they, without if there's not an injury involved, they don't give you top 36 running back ranking. There's no chance that they return it later on in their career. Sammy Watkins is there. Dede Westbrook, N'Keal Harry might end up on a different team. New England's gotten calls about him.
God,
KJ,
I hope so.
I mean, he
was
a good
the number 1 prospect. He was consensus 1.01 2 years ago. I mean, he needs to be on another team.
He's just been suffocated. He's been suffocated by Brady not trusting rookies and Cam Newton not throwing the football
and injuries. He had some injuries.
And injuries, of course. KJ Hamler's on this team. Cole Kmet could step up, and there's HP Lime's 1st round pick on this team. So, I mean, we see a lot of studs, but a lot of question marks. So high upside, but like graveyard floor for this team.
I agree. Yeah, I really like the the running backs that he has here. I mean, Chubb and Aaron Jones is one of the best tandems so far that we've read off.
And Cam Akers is going to be usable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in this league knows we don't like Cam Akers, but hey, maybe there's people who do like Cam Akers.
He's the running back 3, so maybe sell high on Cam Akers.
That's what I'm doing here, and I'm looking.
Send out an offer for Ridley. See if you can get Ridley.
Yeah, and with what his value is, I mean, realistically, you could probably get more than Ridley just based upon ADP and where he's going and what people are willing to pay. That's just Bradley and I saying what we would take, but I realistically think in most leagues you can get more than Calvin Ridley, straight up for Akers. So
for sure,
and you have the depth to do it. So if I'm you, I'm moving Akers, and I'm looking to get younger in other positions.
Great. Enough Cam Akers talk. Let's move to number 4. Number 4, HP Limes. But first in starting lineup. And HP Limes starts off with our consensus. Number 1, quarterback Patrick Mahomes. He's got Joe Mixon at running back. Gus Edwards as his RB2.
Sneaky good.
He's sneaky good. He will be useful. Mark Ingram is gone, and it's just the J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards show. Billy, I recently got into a little Twitter discussion with Mike Clay about how Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins were going to split, and Clay says it's going to be closer to 65-35. I said it's going to be closer to like 55-45, and I think that whatever it is, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be one of the run heaviest teams in the NFL. So he's just going to get volume. Even if it's 45%, 35%, it's still going to be a lot of rushes.
Yeah, and he's going to be the short yardage back. He's going to be the goal line back. And so I love Gus Edwards. We liked him last year. Remember?
We did.
And so with everybody else, I mean, with Mark Ingram gone, it just opens the door for both these backs. But I tend to agree more with your take on how this backfield is going to be split versus Mike Clay's. I don't think that this is going to be a 60, 70, percent backfield for Dobbins. I think it's going to be closer to 50-50 than most people want to admit. And, that being said, you're getting some severe value here on Gus Edwards.
Absolutely. I don't think he's running back 28, but maybe running back 35. Yeah. I think 32, 35. And so a lower end running back too, but he's not going to kill your fantasy team. No. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson at wide receiver, TJ, man, are you sure you aren't like ghost HP Limes here, Billy? Because he's got TJ Hockenson, he's got Corey Davis, he's got Sam Darnold, 3 players who you see the upside for. And Hockenson I'll give you, but yeah, we got into a little bit of fight off air a couple of days ago about Sam Darnold. So I'm not that high.
This does kind of look like a Musio build. There's some areas that I wouldn't have gone down, but the players, there's some names on here that I see on a lot of my rosters.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. We see Mike Williams and Jonnu Smith in the flex positions here. I think Jonnu is dust. Don't come at me. Like the low pass volume, Jonnu had 16% target share, but 16% of 400. We're talking like
Bradley's Rain Man. He's doing this in his head right now, by the way.
60 something targets. 60 something targets, 70 targets in a season is not going to do it.
I just did the math at 64.
Yeah. So there you gosh. So Jonnu Smith, I think he's a complete bust. And if there's one guy in your league who thinks Jonnu Smith's going to be good, sell him Jonnu Smith for whatever good value you can get from him. Tyrod Taylor might be a value. I think Tyrod Taylor is a better fantasy quarterback than Sam Darnold. There you go. You heard it here. Gio
Bradley
Bernard,
and I are going to fight.
Gio Bernard, Phillip Lindsay, Darrington Evans, Le'Veon Bell, Devonta Freeman as dart throw.
Wait. Well, I'm not going to let that one go. We're rewinding this. Let's go back. I'm not letting that one go by. Sam Darnold, really? You're taking Tyrod Taylor over Sam Darnold? I will. Okay. Dynasty as well?
Not Dynasty. This year, 2021. 2021, I think.
Even though Deshaun Watson hasn't faced criminal charges, it's only as of right now, he's technically playing week 1 if he chose to play for Texans, right?
I don't think he's playing for the Texans.
I don't think so either. So even if Tyrod Taylor plays, he's averaging 17 passes a game in his career. 17.
I would rather have Tyrod Taylor.
Really? With
I
that
would
offense?
So I'd rather have Tyrod Taylor than
He's
Sam
got
Darnold.
Brandon Cooks, and he's got your beloved. No, Chet Hansen's gone. He's got
Chad Hansen is cut. Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm still recovering.
He's got Brandon Cooks. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much it. I mean he's got they have Philip Lindsay back there. They have David Johnson. I mean, realistically,
Sure, but Tyrod Taylor is a Konami code quarterback. He is a rushing quarterback. He has a
that
high
doesn't
floor.
do that job well, by the way. Maybe he does it, but not well.
I mean, he's consistent. Like when he's gotten starts, he's been a quarterback too. And Sam Darnold is more like a quarterback 3, even with weapons.
I think he's out of the Jets. I mean, it's this different storyline here.
He's just not good.
Everywhere
Sam Darnold is not good.
Everywhere Tyrod's been, it's been the same storyline. He runs the ball. He hasn't thrown the ball.
Right, because he's a better fantasy quarterback than he is an NFL quarterback.
Correct. I think Darnold's better than both. We'll find out. To be determined.
We will.
Beer
All
bet.
right.
That's like we're up to 3. If I win this one, you owe me 3 beers when I come to see you in the expo.
Or it's going to be the other way around, and I'm going to get trashed.
Yeah.
Either way. All right. No, I can handle my beer. Thank you very much. Quintez Cephas as a dart throw. Here, Donald Parham, XFL hype man, and a first round pick. Lazy Bums first round pick here. All right, real talk. I think that this team has a lot of ceiling. It has the sky is the limit for this team. But the fact that we had to bring it down to 4th overall, I think speaks to the couple holes that it has. It has a hole at 2 flex positions, maybe only 1. Jonnu Smith, I think, definitely is a hole here. Sam Darnold, even if he's the starter for Carolina, I don't trust him. You can't trust it. Tyrod Taylor, you can't trust it. Even if they play okay, there's not a lot of trust. Philip Lindsay is going to be splitting time with Mark Ingram and David Johnson. There's a lot of ways things can go sideways for this team. I think Patrick Mahomes may be able to bail him out, but is it going to be week 16 when Mahomes, really didn't do that well in the fantasy playoffs this past season, and it cost a lot of people fantasy championships? If you ride 1 or 2 players, maybe that stack of Tyreek Hill, Mahomes fails you, then you're donezo. And I mean, there's no better stack, I think, than Mahomes and Hill, but
in a super flex league, though, he's going to get a pretty good player at 1.09. I mean, you're probably talking somebody like Devonta Smith, maybe Kyle Pitts, Travis Etienne. I think there's some names out here that are going to land in his lap at 1.09. So I think having that first round pick is really going to, help fill in those
the
spaces.
Gap. He's going to need to use it.
I mean, realistically, Gio Bernard is probably going to be useful here on the Bucs for 3rd down.
Oh, that's gross, isn't it?
It is gross, but it's probably going to happen. Let's
be
real here.
Tom Brady went out of his way to recruit him. So
yep.
he's going to be the James White of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And Philip Lindsay could be useful. I mean, let's face it, David Johnson's going to be 30 years old this year.
Mark Ingram's going to get cut.
Yeah, I do think so too. So I think that, there's some pieces here that he has. I think Jonnu Smith being in his lineup is set right now, but I think that'll change on a week-to-week basis.
For sure. All right, let's bring it home, Billy. We've got 3 teams left, and with number 3, Packers win by 10, but 9th in starting lineup. Oh, man. We're going to look at this team and see depth on depth, and if that depth holds up, or if he can pair up a couple of these in a trade, look out. Josh Allen at quarterback, great way to start. Antonio Gibson at running back, but then it drops off J.D. McKissick. Now, in a PPR league, McKissick was useful last year, so that could be, a replicated value as long as Antonio Gibson doesn't, reclaim some of that target share. Chase Claypool, we talked about Claypool as having the number 5 overall wide receiver performance week last season. Brandon Ayuk, Laviska Shenault, Noah Fant, Jalen Reagor, Michael Gallup, Gabriel Davis. Drew Brees just recently retired, so hats off. Mason Rudolph, the only other quarterback.
Hold up. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Drew Brees.
Bye-bye. Mason Rudolph, the only other quarterback rostered. Darrell Williams, Ty Johnson, Travion Williams, Mike Weber. We also see a couple of wide receivers that might pan out. Rashard Higgins, Demarcus Robinson with Sammy Watkins gone. Alan Lazard as the wide receiver 2 on this team for now. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Mo Alley Cox, David Njoku, really is dart throw tight ends. But there are
this is where it comes in.
This is where the moneymaker happens here.
Yep.
Packers win by 10 has 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. The Golden Age, JSW's 21,000 trading company, and also JSW 21,000's a second-round pick as well. So while
so those numbers, real quick for the listeners who and viewers, that's pick 1.04, 1.08, and 1.12, as well as 2.08. So he's got 4 picks in the top 22.
We're talking like a Javonte Williams, possibly.
Maybe
Harris, maybe Etienne. So he's going to get a running back 2 in that spot as a rookie.
He's going to get a quarterback. Maybe Trey Lance, maybe in Zach Wilson falls. We will see. And then taking a stud wide receiver at 112. So there are holes on this team right now, but they can be filled through these picks. There is a way forward immediately. Okay. There we go. Billy, we got 2 teams left. So team number 2, but before we say team number 2's name, there's somebody out here, and as soon as you say team's number 2 name, I'm gonna play something. So who's team 2?
Team number 2, and this is the second best starting lineup. So you're going to see a really good team with team number 2, like the second best team in the whole league. Clay Pigeon 49.
So team 1 out here, Chewy's like,
he's been waiting and waiting for us to declare him number 1. We've got to give Clay Pigeon 49 his due before we talk about Chewy's team. And so Clay Pigeon 49, let me pull up Obi-Wan Brenobi. Okay, Obi-Wan Brenobi, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Carson, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley. Where does this team go wrong? Just wait. Evan Ingram at the tight end position, Mark Ingram, Deebo Samuel, Sony Michel. And then Jared Goff. So there is Drew Lock on this team. Billy, did you have the Trace McSorley song queued up? Because he's got Trace McSorley on this team.
Sorry, who was that again?
Trace McSorley.
Yeah. Despite the fact that he led his high
we
school
do have
to
it.
4 straight state
So for those of you who have not heard this is the Tracy McSorley song.
It was a hit on Twitter. Hundreds of thousands of listens.
So this was around the time that Lamar Jackson had to take a poop and came back in the game, and Tracy McSorley led them to a comeback, and then Lamar won the game. Okay,
I love it, Tracy McSorley.
This is Bradley's Tracy McSorley song.
Love me some Trace McSorley. Hashtag TikTok Phenom. Okay. All right, we're gonna go back here. Look at the rest of the team. Clay Pigeon 49 plus 1,000 for Trace McSorley being on the roster. Rex Burkhead, Latavius Murray, Chris Thompson, Malcolm Brown, Alex Collins, Dare Ogunbowale, and Travis Homer. Lots of running back dart throws. Latavius Murray's just been like a top 30 running back the last 3 years or so, backing up Kamara. And I expect him to still hold that role. We're looking at Golden Tate, Travis Fulgham, Tyler Conklin. Yes. Man, are you sure the Clay Pigeon isn't my team?
Yeah.
Because I love me some Tyler Conklin. I think
you wouldn't have drafted DK.
That's true. I would not have drafted DK. But I would have Harrison Bryant as well on this team. There are a couple dart throws that I really like on this team. But looking at the rest of it, I'm also excited about the 2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
because
1.03 and 1.07.
Yeah, that's definitely going to fill in your 2 flex positions here that we're concerned about. Mark Ingram is dust. Sony Michel, does he even have one functioning knee?
Depends upon the week, but yes.
Whose knees are worse, Sony Michel's or Todd Gurley's?
Gurley's.
Maybe. Maybe.
Easy.
I do think Sony Michel outproduces Gurley this season. But nevertheless, this is a very good team, top to bottom, left to right. It's got a lot of dart throws. It's got enough ceiling. There's depth enough here, and youth in the picks, a 2nd-round pick as well, and all of the not a 2022 first-round pick though. So this is going to be the next 2 years really looking to cash in.
Yeah, it was nice to see him actually be able to build this starting roster as well as the picks. I mean, I think that's where he really did well. And his 2nd-round pick's not like a later mid-round pick; it's 2.02. So he's got 2 top 16 picks, and then he has out of those, 3 top 16 picks,
3 of them,
and then 2 within the top 7. So I think that. I think
it's going to fill those gaps. It's looking good. Yeah.
Oh no, this definitely Chewy Papa. I'm just gonna call you Chewy Papa every time
He needs to change his sleeper name.
You should change it.
There we go.
We're gonna actually message Sleeper and request it.
Absolutely. Okay, Billy, it's time. It's time that we gave Chewy his due. Chewy 55, our number 1 fantasy team in this Degeneration X 14-team Dynasty PPR league. 3rd best starting lineup.
Hold up.
Do you have
keep going? Yeah, keep going.
3rd best starting lineup, but number 1 overall. You'll see a lot of beautiful players on this team, and boy, Chewy is going to be elated in all of the other leagues that we are in with him. We've won over his good graces. Maybe Chewy, you can buy league reviews, knowing that we will review you. It's within the range of outcomes that you'll be number 1 now. Okay, Matthew Stafford at quarterback. I think it's fine. It's an okay quarterback. He's a quarterback 2 for me. But
he's got 3 quarterbacks though. He's got.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm excited.
We'll get there.
I'm excited for you, Chewy.
I know. This is a good roster.
Ezekiel Elliott. This roster's going to do? It's going to pay him this year.
It is going to pay him. Because he's got Zeke, he's got Derrick Henry, he's got Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Irv Smith. Chewy, if there was one weakness, it would be Irv Smith here. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? And at least he's got Dalton Schultz, Eric Ebron there on the bench. Maybe he's filling in, but I am out on Irv Smith. Sell. You got the sell there, Billy.
I do. Sell. There it is.
Yeah, sell some Irv Smith to someone who needs a tight end or who believes in the hype. But he's got Tyler Lockett. He's got Jarvis Landry. He's got Marquise Brown. Matt Ryan as quarterback 2, and that's as solid of a quarterback 2 as you're going to get. Taylor Heineke, Daniel Jones is his quarterback 3. And so when you have 3 starting caliber quarterbacks in a 14-team Superflex league, that is a leg up on any other team.
Not just that, but he has picked 1.05.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could easily trade back here because he doesn't need another quarterback, and somebody's going to be willing to trade up to this to get another quarterback. So he could easily trade back here, gather a little bit more in the draft or another player, whatever you choose to do. But this team is built top to bottom. He's got depth. He has the starters. He's got picks. I don't think Chewy
drafted. He's got starters on his bench.
Because he's got starters on his bench and he has draft picks. There's no way Chewy drafted this team. I mean, every Chewy build is
sell
0
all
draft
the picks.
Sell the picks and go all in year 1. So I'm convinced this was Chewy's wife's team. So hats off.
Maybe he's teaching his kids.
Chewy mama. Half off.
Chewy mama. Well done, Billy. All right. Yeah, a couple other notable names on the bench here. James White re-signs with New England. Rashad Penny Chris Carson did resign there, so there goes dashing all of our penny hopes. Marvin Jones, he can pop into the flex position. He was a top 20 wide receiver last season. Still has a lot left in the tank here, and he's got tight end depth, as I mentioned before. We talked about his picks still being there. He can trade back or cash them in later on if he needs to make a move for a playoff run. But ultimately, Chewy, well done, hats off, and ultimately our we'll go through it one more time.
He secretly loves us.
He does. There's nothing better than listening to these podcasts, hearing your name called, and knowing that you did well, and so well done, Chewy. Good build. And you're very much a contender for this year. Hopefully it cashes out for you. Billy, we're going to do one quick recap of just the teams. 14th Trading Company, 13th JDus 9, 12th Godson 4, 11th Fantasy King 8, 10th JSW 21,591. Lazy Bum 511 is 9th. J Ash 5150. So our boy Josh at 8th. 7th Max 95. The team that will not be named by Bradley 6th. Number 5, the Golden Age. Number 4, HP Limes. Number 3, Packers win by 10. Number 2, Clay Pigeon 49. And number 1, Chewy 55. Thank you, Degeneration X. This was a lot of fun going through and chatting with you guys. And we apologize for the technical difficulties, but hopefully you can bring us on for next time.
Yep, that's a wrap, folks. So thanks for tuning in. If you missed any of the show, we will be uploading this to YouTube. So if you have not done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here, and you can get all of our latest updates. There's also some voting topics in there. So please take a look and vote on our latest poll inside of our YouTube channel. And if you liked what we did here tonight and you want us to rate your league, rating my fantasy football team is a common request that we get from our subscribers. So if you'd like what we did here, you want to create some excitement within your league or add value to your fantasy football league, contact us today. I just want to say thank you, everybody, and have a good night from Bradley and I here at Fantasy Data.
Everybody, hands.